Hi there, this is a fine trap for black in the Gruenfeld, and it's called the Sokolov Castle in the Sky, and it follows the course of the interesting game Polazur against Sokolov 1987. After d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, we have the Gruenfeld with d5. White, rather than taking the pawn, plays knight f3 first, and after bishop g7, we'll see white adopt a modern treatment to the Gruenfeld with this very trendy move queen b3. After d takes on c4 now, and queen takes c4, black has many decent moves. By far the most popular move is castles, but we've seen in this position a lesser variation. Knight c6 has been played by the likes of Korchnoi and Krasenkov. So it allows white to get the centre he wanted now with e4, and that's challenged by black with the move bishop g4, hitting the knight on f3, and so loosening the pawn on d4. White could play bishop e3 to support the pawn on d4, the move bishop e3, or can have a more direct approach with the move d5, and this move has been played by Grandmasters Bereev and Van Velle. So after the move d5, black's going to take the knight I should say, on f3. After bishop takes f3, it releases the e5 square for the knight. And if now g takes on f3, the knight can jump to e5, but the queen will jump back to e2 to defend the pawn on f3, and the queen herself was being attacked. And this would be a small yet solid advantage for white. If instead, though, after bishop takes f3, white tries the flashy d takes on c6, then advantage is overturned as black has this resource, b5, hitting at the queen. And this is quite annoying. White now is under pressure. Black certainly has advantage. If knight takes on b5, that's going to be embarrassing because we've got mate in 1 with queen d1. And if queen took on b5, it allows a tactic with knight takes on e4. Threat is knight takes on c3, and then bishop takes c3. It's going to be check and rook. And of course, knight takes knight doesn't work because that same mate threat of queen d1. So perhaps the best that white can do after the move b5 is to withdraw the queen to d3 and offer a trade, which black readily accepts. Queen takes on d3. And now after bishop takes on d3, black picks up the g-pawn, bishop takes g2, hitting the rook, and the rook moves to g1. And rather than run with the bishop to, where can it run to, f3 or h3, long castle is much better for black. The rook's in the game on the d-file, it's hitting the bishop on d3. And in some variations, the b-pawn is going to threaten to come up to b4 and soften up the pawn on e4. So black is definitely doing well in this variation, and this has been called the Sokolov Castle in the Sky in the Gruenfeld. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.